Yeah, so we have spring break next week. But
Next week?
yeah,
Okay, that's soon.
yeah, we have that next week, and then but there's a wedding at
Did you guys get a lot of snow?
we did. We actually got more snow than we've ever had in a long time. And it's been good, but it's been bad because of the mud and everything else. So
But
it's
the
been good.
fields are going to be good.
Yeah, fields are good, but they check the
Awesome.
fields nice and wet. So gotta get in some early
Good.
planting.
Well, it'll be good for the fields.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about you guys should have gotten a lot. You guys were getting hit, right?
Yeah, we got some snow, but here at home, it's like 18 miles to work, and Crow Canyon still has snow and we don't.
Mm.
Yeah, so, but it's melting pretty fast. So, and of course there's mud everywhere. And
Yeah.
here at home it's mostly dry. That's why we were able to go scout on the south end of the Ute reservation. So it's actually really dry. We didn't even hit a water puddle or anything, mud,
Oh,
nothing.
yeah. Nice.
So it was pretty cool.
Did you guys get some sledding in on campus?
Yeah, I took Dior to campus a couple of times, and she actually brought her sled and was able to go sledding. So that was cool. Yeah,
Nice.
she really loved it. So and by then we didn't have any snow. So
Oh, cool.
oh, and Terry says hi, by the way, Liz.
Oh, to me? Oh, yes.
Yeah, she said to
I
say
know he
hello
likes
to you.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we the scouting trip went really well, and I was really happy that we were able to get times and different things. And so and find out that it's pretty easy walk for all of us and the participants. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Obviously that can be sort of difficult sometimes. I'm gonna get the PowerPoint up here.
Okay.
We got such an
Well,
awesome.
good talking to you, Smalls. I'm gonna just go ahead and put my volume down.
Oops. Oh, very good. Okay. All righty. You just let us know when it's time, Taylor. Can you see the screen okay?
Yep, you're coming through clear. Looks like we have about 1 minute to spare.
Okay. It's that last minute that's always very long and uncomfortable.
It always feels like a really, really long moment.
I know.
1 minute. Forever.
It's like if I'm planking or something, that minute is really, really long. In fact, who am I kidding? I can't do it for a minute. So 30 seconds, the longest of my life.
That's cool. 82 so far, Smalls. Thank you for doing this list, by the way.
Oh my gosh, thank you and thank Dee, and I'm so excited.
82 people?
No, I'm excited.
Oh,
thank you.
You said 82.
And I'm showing we're right at 4 p.m., Liz.
All right, we will get going. Welcome everyone to our Thursday webinar. I'm Liz Perry, Crow Canyon's president, joined with Rebecca Hammond, who is our American Indian Initiatives Manager and educator. And I will just do as we usually do and open with our land acknowledgement. Crow Canyon Archaeological Center acknowledges the Pueblo, Ute, Paiute, Dene, and Jicarilla Apache people on whose traditional homelands our campus sits. Our mission-related work would not be possible without Indigenous people in the past, present, and future. Oops, sorry, spoiler. And we respectfully recognize and honor ancestral and I'm having some serious problems today. Sorry, descendants, Indigenous communities for their contributions to all humankind. Crow Canyon is deeply grateful to all Indigenous people, and we support the preservation and protection of cultural traditions, ancestral connections, and sacred lands. We are so lucky to work and live here. We have a sort of an update that Taylor has put up for us today, that we have expanded our access to online Indigenous resources on our website. It's pretty amazing, actually, our Indigenous resources page. And Becky, do you want to tell us a little bit about how this got created?
Sure. This website, this page actually is done by one of our American Indian Initiatives intern, and they did an amazing job by sitting and researching and actually getting us the access. So please feel free to take a look. You can see it's www.crowcanyon.org online Indigenous resources. So there's podcasts, there's artists, authors, and also Emerson was able to also get us started on our Native American library. So we want an all Indigenous library that we are slowly working on as well. And so, work couldn't have been, this would never have been completed without our interns and the help from interns. And so it's just really kind of an amazing thing. And I'm just so grateful to have the opportunity to host interns and do amazing work like this. So thank you.
Thank you, Becky. And thank all of you who are watching for your donations. You make our webinars possible. You make our interns possible. You make everything that we're doing at Crow Canyon possible. We're so grateful. Please keep supporting us. We need it, and we're really working hard on doing some exciting work, especially for our Indigenous stakeholders and students who can go on this resources page and access a lot of really important information, and also showcase Native scholars and artists and folks creating amazing content. So thank you all, and thank you, Becky, and our interns. A quick update, if you can, please try to use the Q&A to put your questions in. You can put them in at any time during the presentation, and we will get to them. Sometimes they get lost in the chat if people are chatting. We are streaming live on Facebook if you have any trouble with your Zoom connection, and please jump onto our YouTube channel at any time. We have a lot of our past webinars there. Becky, you have your hand up. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to throw a shout out to the amazing Taylor. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Becky, for remembering that. We did not get a chance to embarrass her because she didn't come to the office today. So we haven't forgotten, though, Taylor. Okay, so a quick reminder, next Thursday, we won't have a webinar because we have our Board of Trustees meeting and we get a little busy during that time, but please join us the Thursday after for Colorado Ute History and Colonial Land and Water Appropriation with Dr. Amarina Lee Martinez. Amazing recent PhD, incredible woman of color. We love Amarina, and we're so grateful that she's going to be presenting for us next week. And then another one of our favorite friends, amazing Indigenous scholar and artist, Return to Clay, Reflections on Culture and Identity Through Pueblo Pottery with our friend Ron Martinez Looking Elk. We are super excited about, you will watch this movie, you will be amazed, and Ron will be here to answer questions too. So little break next week, and then 2 amazing webinars coming up. Without further ado, I am so pleased to introduce Deloria Lomawaima. Was born and raised in the Third Mesa village of Lower Moenkopi. Her education includes attending Fort Lewis College over here in Durango, Northern Arizona University, and the University of Phoenix. She earned her undergraduate degree from NAU with a major in Applied Indigenous Studies with a focus on cultural resource management, and she got her master's in education from the University of Phoenix. She has continuously been interested in the history of her Hopi people, more recently focusing on the genealogy of her own family. Deloria currently resides and works within her village as the elementary school librarian. Her hobbies and interests include taking hikes with her family, sewing and running, and hanging out with her Crow Canyon buddies. Thank you, Dee. We're so psyched to have you presenting, and I will stop my share so you can do your talk.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Ascoli for joining us this evening. My presentation is Cultural Treasure, Women and Their Role in Hopi History. And I'd like to thank Crow Canyon for inviting me to do this. I've done this presentation before on campus with college students and adult participants, as well as some high school, field school students. So I always enjoy coming going to help them, and this time it's virtual, so it's kind of new to me. And please excuse my voice. I am trying to fight off a cold as much as I can, so I'll be drinking some water here and there, and working with elementary kids. If anybody has, you know how hard it is to keep your voice sometimes. So I hope you guys enjoy my presentation, and I look forward to any questions you might have at the end. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay, so just some terms before we start. Matrilineal is tracing of kinship through the female line. Hopi is a matrilineal society, so a lot of our kinship system is based on our mother and the clans of our mothers. So just to keep that in mind. Matrilocal, a custom in which the husband goes to live in the wife's community. This is tradition, and it's still practiced and encouraged, very strongly encouraged in most Hopi families. My husband does live in my village with me, so he's been there for about, you see, 20 years now. So he's almost a part of our community, pretty much part of our community. So my village. Matrifocal, a family structure in which the mother heads the family and the father plays a less important role in the home and the rearing of children. This has kind of changed a bit over generations, my generation in particular, where a lot of our uncles are more of the disciplinarians in our families, in our clan families. But in my generation, there has been a decline in that. You don't see it so much. And I am fortunate to have in-laws that do practice that within their families. So my children are able to see the uncles still play that role. But today, you know, a lot of fathers play that role of disciplining their children and helping women raise their kids. And it's not a bad thing, but uncles still should have a role in our families. But unfortunately, it hasn't been that way for everybody, and it's kind of declining. And I'm sure there's a lot of other reasons for that happening, but that's the way it's always been. And hopefully, I'm hoping someday, you know, as we teach our children that these are the roles they play in their own families, that it starts to come back into play with our families. So matriline, when a person is identified with their mother's lineage, and often involves inheritance of property and or titles. As we go through that, you'll go through the presentation, you'll understand why we use this system and why it's important to understand these four various terms. For a lot of people out at Hopi, these are very, very strong values that we try to instill in our children. And in my family in particular, I've always been raised to know all these differences between matrilineal and patrilineal, and that who we are as Hopis. So hopefully these four terms will help you understand a little bit more about who we are as Hopi. Both women and men are essential to the survival of Hopi. We balance out each other. No one is more important, although it may seem like it when I talk about women and our role in our society. but there is a balance of that, and men are very just as important as women. So Hopi is a state of being. That means it's not necessarily a religion, I guess you would say. It is I think the way we think, the way we practice, the way we see things in our own eyes. It's a more of a state of being than a religion. That's how I've been taught. Hopi women own everything, and in that case, it goes back to matrilineal. When we inherit things, and the men can build us a home, and they can build a home, but it belongs to the women. And whatever they plant in the fields, it belongs to the women. Basically, whatever they bring into the home belongs to the women. So if there was ever to be a divorce between a man and a woman, the man just basically leaves with whatever's on his back, and isn't supposed to be taking anything that he's brought into that home, because it's automatically the woman and her families. So we basically own everything. We got the upper hand in that deal. So children born from a Hopi woman inherit her lineage and clan, which are Hopi traditional customs and ways defined and recognized as Hopi. And this is very important because today there are a lot of instances where people who have Hopi fathers are identifying themselves as Hopi. And that's not what we are taught. That is not what we should be practicing, because it confuses our whole kinship system. It messes with our whole kinship system. And unfortunately, it's been happening a lot. And a lot of people are no longer acknowledging that and want to kind of move away from accepting those things, especially when it comes to certain ceremonies. And it can be very it can be a tough subject to talk about, especially when it's happening within your own family. But there's a reason for the things we do. Hopi is a very prejudiced culture, I'd say, because we want to keep things for ourselves. There's a reason and a purpose for that, and it shouldn't be shared with everybody. We earn our right to certain types of knowledge and the ability to participate in certain things. So we have to make sure that we keep it within our own people. And growing up, my family, especially my grandmothers, would always say, marry a Hopi, marry a Hopi. If don't marry outside. And I never really understood that until, I married a Hopi. And it just makes life a lot easier when you can understand one another, when you're both from the same people, both from understanding that race the same way. It makes everything a lot easier, including raising your children, including having your families together as you move on through life and you go on through these certain stages in life. And it's a big thing for us. And my family is very, very adamant about understanding that you are Hopi if your mother is Hopi. If you come from a Hopi woman's womb and she bleeds when you are born, that is who you are. You're Hopi. If your mother is Navajo and she births you with her own blood, you're Navajo. So those are very big differences. And unfortunately today, it's a huge discussion in many households, and it can get pretty intense, I would say. But from my perspective, being taught the way I was from my grandparents, from my mother, you're Hopi if your mother is Hopi, and it goes on back. And like I said, there's reasons for that. as you grow up and as things are happening as you get older. So it's a big deal, and I'm teaching my children that as well. Okay, so a Hopi child's first 20 days of life, I wanted to start with this because this is where it begins. This is where a child's identity is instilled in them. They are understanding who their families are, who they're identifying with on the mother's side and the father's side. Before the naming, there is a time where the mother and the child are in darkness for 20 days, and there is no sunlight in the room. The mother fasts. There is no meat, salt, or fat. There is no male contact, and the mother and the child have this opportunity to bond. And the first time I went through this, it was very, very hard. If you're a mother and you understand trying to make milk for your child, but you're fasting, it's a very, very intense kind of, how would you say that? It's almost like, it feels like, I can't think of the word. It's hard. It's just hard. But by the second one, I was okay. I understood what I was going through. But it is a bonding experience. As a mother, you're the only one taking care of that child, and you're sleeping with them, and you're so grateful for those times where later on that you're grateful that you spent that time with your child, and you know them for their first 20 days of their life, and you've just built that bond, and there's a reason for that as well. And hopefully when we get older and everything, you kind of understand why we go through the things we do with that child the first 20 days. During that time, the paternal grandmother and her relatives will come and take care of the child, and bathe him here and there, do certain things for the child throughout the 20 days. And that whole time, going through that, you're in that room, you can't leave it. You're stuck in your house with the baby. The father can come see the child, but is not allowed to sit on the bed or touch the mother, little things like that, because it's what we call it, or you can't, the male isn't pure. So we have to be able to keep our child pure during that time. And the mother corn, perfect ear of corn is what we call that, the mother corn. And it's usually a white corn, and it has no gaps, and it goes all the way to the tip. The corn, it's perfect all the way to the tip. And then the cob at the bottom is not broken, and that child keeps that corn, is given that corn first day that the paternal grandmother comes in and sleeps with it, keeps it, and for the rest of their life if they can. And that's what the child is named with as well. Anybody that comes to name the child on the 20th day, that morning, will use that corn and say a prayer and name that child after their own clan. And that 20th day, on that morning, that's when the child gets to eat Hopi food for the first time. And that's when the mother finally gets to eat. And then the child is presented to the son, to Tawa, the first time with his or her new name. And the paternal grandmother will take the child and the mother out and do that. And this prayer is a prayer that's always given at a naming. And in a rough translation, it can be what you see at the bottom of the screen: may you live always without sickness, and travel along the right path into old age, and pass away in your sleep without pain. So that's kind of a basic translation to what that prayer is when that child is named in the morning on the 20th day. It's an experience, and it's interesting to see other mothers go through that, younger mothers. I was 22 when I first went through it, And my daughter was 10 years later, so I was 32 when I did hers. So I was a little bit more mature, a little bit more patient, and a little bit more understanding. And I think I was a little tougher to get through those 20 days again. So it's quite an experience. And from then on, the child has its identity to not just the mother side, but the father side as well. So, excuse me, stages of a Hopi woman's life. So as a young mana, we like to call them, life as a young Hopi maiden, I didn't put the childhood of a young Hopi girl, because that's, you know, a child, and you're up to all kind of things when you're a little girl. You start learning things, but when you get to a certain age, and that's usually maybe after puberty or after they've gotten initiated into certain societies, maybe around the age of 18, 19, maybe, when they're a little bit more mature. I know it used to happen a lot younger, a long time ago, but today it's practiced a little bit later in a girl's life. It's done a little bit later in a girl's life. And during this time, a young girl is expected to grind corn for their paternal aunts. And they are expected to learn certain things. They're expected to learn how to grind corn, to make biki, to make somiviki, to make all the different types of Hopi food. And so they can prepare themselves to get married, to be eligible for marriage at that time. And I know a long time ago when they used to go through this, and once it was done, then the boys of the village, my soul would say, the boys of the village knew which girls knew what to do, knew how to take care of a man. So they were the ones you were looking for. And it's what we call a rehearsal for a wedding, a bride in training, because everything you do when you go through this, it's called numanvaki, when you grind corn, the grinding ceremony. When you go through this, everything you learn is basically what you do when you go through a wedding, but at a shorter time limit, and not as much, I guess, it's not as strict in a way. And your paternal aunts are there helping you. So, but when you go through a wedding, you're on your own, and it's a whole different thing when you're grinding corn by yourself, compared to if you see these 4 girls grinding corn together. I'm sure it's a lot of fun being able to have somebody beside you, but when you get married, you're by yourself. And this time also is when a young girl is able to begin wearing her hair in these big whirls, and they're called polientes. They're big whirls that they wear, and I know Hopis are well known for that. As a little girl, you get these little ones that you put on the side of your head, and we call them somivikis because they look like the little cornmeal treats, blue cornmeal treats that we wrap in corn husk, and little girls get to wear those little ones. But once you go through the Namapaki, you're able to, you have the honor of wearing your hair like that, and you're identified as a young girl that's gone through this. It's a special time that happens only once a year, which is right before home dance. At home dance time, all these young girls are presented to the village, and you can see all these young girls that have gone through this out there at the plaza, putting cornmeal on the kachinas for the first time, and they showcase themselves, showing that they've earned this right to do what they're doing and to have their hair up like that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of villages that don't practice this. It is mostly done on Second Mesa, some Third Mesa villages, and I believe they still do it at First Mesa. Some of the villages, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they do, but where I'm from, they no longer do it. My grandmother was the last generation to go through that at my village, so I did not do this I was not lucky enough to go through this, but you know, I still learned through my mother how to do the things I needed to in order to get married in Hopi. So every girl, if you're not able to go through this, there's still somebody that's gonna teach you these things as you grow up. If you want to, I guess you could say. My mom always says, if you don't want to do it, I won't show you, because you have to want to do it to learn it, and, you know, be able to practice it the way it needs to be practiced and have it come out good, because you always go into things with a good heart. But if you're not into it, then I don't want to show you yet till you're ready. So you have to be willing and ready to go through these things, and it's not easy. It's a lot of work. And a lot of time, a lot of patience that goes into different things. So once you're able to be a young girl, and I always encourage my nieces to stay a young girl as long as they can, because they get to enjoy things in life that you only get during this time as a mana. You're able to dance and participate in these social dances. And I enjoyed this time of my life a lot. And it's fun because you get to hang out with your friends and go down to the kiva and you know, be there in a setting where, yes, you get to look at the young boys, but you're enjoying this time with your friends and learning songs and dancing and doing it for the people. And it's just you get a sense of pride when you're going through this time in your life, because you're able to dance as much as you can, as much as you want. Um, and it's just a lot of fun. But you always have to be ready to take on those responsibilities that come with being a mana. You're no longer a little girl. You have to help around the house even more. You have to be able to, you know, you should know how to make piki by then. You should be helping with that, be helping with the corn, harvesting, putting things away, stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun at this age, but there's still a lot of responsibility during this time. And I know growing up, this was the time when my grandmothers would tell me, you know, you need to be with a Hopi if you want to have your kids do this. You know, your kids will be Hopi because you're Hopi, but it always helps if the dad will be there to support you with your kids or daughters when they go through things like this. I know my father always was proud of me when he would see me dance and everything, and I was fortunate enough to have him sponsor a dance for me. The very last time I danced when I was 21, he put on a dance for me, and it was actually this dance here in the middle with this my niece dancing. This one is called Balik Manas, it's the water maiden dance, and I loved that dance so much and enjoyed it. And I'm glad that was the last time I danced, because it was, you know, something that my dad was willing to do for me. And it was a lot of work. We had to do a lot of preparation for this, and I wanted to show my family that I could do it. And at that time I was actually already dating my husband, and you know, they said, okay, this will probably be your last time you're gonna dance, so we'll do this for you. And yeah, sure enough, it was. And I always tell my nieces, just wait, you know, keep dancing. You can be 22, 23, however old you want to be. Just keep dancing, because once you have children, once you get married, once you start living with a man, you can't dance anymore. You're no longer considered pure, and you're not supposed to be dancing with these young girls anymore. So it varies. I know among pueblos in New Mexico, some ladies are able to still dance, but here at Hopi, you're no longer allowed to dance, and it's sad because when I see my nieces dance, I always think back fondly of all the memories I had, and it's you can see that I miss it, and I can't wait till my daughter's able to start dancing, because I'll probably be running up there dancing right behind her. like we get to do. That's the only time we get to do that is when we dance after our nieces and stuff there with their partners. But it's a good time in your life. And I always tell like I said, I always tell my nieces, enjoy it because it won't last forever. And so far, a couple of my nieces in this picture, not the one in the middle, but the other two, a couple of my other nieces already have kids, so they can't dance anymore. But my young niece in the center here, she's still able to dance, and hopefully she'll keep dancing. So, okay, life as a Hopi woman. Her work is never done. She is the owner of the home. She is the seat keeper. She is a teacher. She is a caretaker, a hostess, and a matriarch. And my mother is living proof that a Hopi woman's work is never done. She is gonna be 78 this year. And that lady does not rest at all. And I'm glad because that's what's keeping her going. And now I'm understanding a lot of it. And now that I'm married, my work hasn't stopped since I got married. And now that we're getting back into our ceremonies, we're very busy. And I'm still trying to understand everything that my mom's been teaching me all these years. And some of it has made sense. Not everything. I'm sure it will when I turn 50, but I'm still learning. And like I said, the home is always passed through the mother through the daughters. So you're always taking care of that house, and you're always taking care of people who come into that house. During dances, anytime there's visitors, for whatever reason, you're always the caretaker, the hostess. You're the main person to take care of that home. And like they say, keep the fire going so people stay warm. Excuse me. And it's a lot of work, but it's something that keeps you going, gives you a purpose every day to wake up. Like my mother says, when she prays in the morning, she's thankful that she's still there to keep going and being there to teach us new things. And that's her purpose. I guess you would say she says her purpose is us, her children, her daughters, so she can keep carrying on teaching us things that we can keep carrying on for our own children. And we are seat keepers, so our men come to us to ask us what we need restocking of for our crops, and we're the ones that give them the seeds. We take care of that, and when they bring the harvest to us, we're the ones that take care of that as well. We're the ones that store it. We husk everything, we store it, we put it away, and we usually know what we have, what supplies we have, or what different types of beans, different types of corn, melon seeds, other things like that. So we keep track of that. As Hopi ladies, we're the ones that keep track of those things. So the men usually come to us and ask us what it is we need for that year. My mother is the oldest in our clan, in our village. So she is a matriarch right now. And as we get older, one of us is probably going to end up fulfilling her role as a matriarch. In my village, there is not very many of us. So it's usually going to come down to how many people are in your clan, in your village. And right now, my mother is the oldest one in our village at Lower Munkapi. So she is the matriarch of our clan, and a lot of the younger ladies come to her and ask her questions and ask her advice, or try to get her help for other things. She's getting older and she's not able to do a lot as she used to, but she's always willing to teach and willing to listen to anybody that needs her help. And as teachers, we have to carry on that whatever my mom's taught us, we have to carry that on to our own children. So I'm a mother of a son and a daughter. And as you can see here in the video, the picture of my daughter, I'm trying to start teaching my daughter how to make biki. She's 8 years old right now, but having her touch the stone with a low fire or no fire at all is, the baby steps to start teaching her how to make it, because it's essential to our ceremonies, knowing how to make biki. So I'm trying to get her in there, and hopefully by the time she starts grinding corn, she'll be a pro at it. And that's something my mother taught me. My grandmother taught me when I was at her age. I would go sit there and watch her make biki, and my mom would put me in there and tell me, try it. You need to learn how to do this. You have a brother, you have a dad, you need to take care of them. And if you ever get married, which I was like, ew, at her age, you say you still need to learn how to do that. So right now I'm trying to teach my daughter to do that. I'm trying to teach her how to do certain things. So she'll be ready, and she's not initiated or anything yet. So she's still at that young little girl age, but I'm trying to build her up so she can start learning these things as soon as she can. And it's always good to have a daughter, because you have somebody to teach and be there with you, or your best friend to help you along when you need that help. Because I have 3 other sisters, so there's 4 of us girls in our family, and my mom's always told us she's very grateful to have daughters, because we're always going to be there to help her. And that's what everything is passed down through our not just the home, but our clan, our people is who will keep continuing creating as we go through generation after generation. And that's why it's important to have girls, I guess, in a way, even though our boys are just as important. It's always good to have a girl in Hopi, so you have somebody to pass things on to. In Hopi, we call our mothers yaya. We don't hear that term very much anymore. But again, you are a mother is the one teaching the child, the daughter, the granddaughters what to do. And it may be at home, doing daily chores like getting water, because some villages don't have water, going to the gardens to take care of things, to harvest things that we need to grind corn, other things like that. And just learning the skills you need to know as a Hopi woman, like fixing your hair. I'm not good at that, but I try, and I've been trying to learn how to do that with my daughter. So those are things that a mother always has to be able to be willing to do with their child. And I'm just so grateful for my mom that she's always been a teacher. She was actually a teacher in her professional life, in her past life, and she taught high school students, and she's a teacher for 26 years. And so she's a natural teacher and very patient with me and my sisters and my nieces. So it's been good to learn things from her, and she's always willing to sit at the table and talk to you and teach you things you want to know about. So I've always been grateful to her, and she's still teaching us things today. And even though times change and we move into a more modern society, our roles don't change as Hopi mothers. We still are trying to practice these things that were practiced hundreds, thousands of years ago. And I hope it keeps going, because I have that hope for my daughter to teach her own daughter, her grandchildren, these things. It's a lot of work, and I'm just so grateful that my mother's still here, and she's been here to go through my wedding with me. As she's, like I said, she's 78, and she's at that age where she's getting tired, but then we keep encouraging her, and I keep telling her, you need to live to 100 to 200, because I have so much more to learn from her. And unfortunately, her own mother here on this side, she passed away when she was 65. So my mother's always said, I wish my mom was still here to teach me these things. I still needed my mom. So I said, yeah, you still need your mom. So I still need you. So you're never going to go, and you're always going to be here, because I need you to teach me more. I need to know more. I need to understand more. And she just laughed. She was, hopefully, hopefully I'll be there. I'll reach that age over 100. And I said, yes, you can do it, because she's a very strong woman, and she goes out every morning and she prays. So I know she'll be with us for a long time. And here in this picture, I have my godmother. She's just as important as my mother. She's helping me pour my cornmeal into a tub, so I could make some food for my in-laws. And then my aunt, my paternal aunt, is standing in the background, probably laughing at something, but these are all roles that we play as Hopi women, godmothers, mothers, aunts. These are all important roles in Hopi. And it never stops. It doesn't stop. You're tied in for life as a godmother, as an aunt, and as a mother. And it all starts with when you're spending that first 20 days with your child as a mother. You build that bond, and it goes through the rest of your life. Never ending, the responsibility. Even though they get married and they may move away, your responsibility is still there, in all roles. So it's a never ending role. Hopi women as paternal aunts, or we call them ge'as. Although the child may not be of the paternal aunt's clan, she still plays a major role throughout her life: birth, corn grinding ceremony, wedding, ceremonial participation, and death. A ge'a shows a never-ending love and pride for her nieces and nephews. Again, she's always there to go through those stages of life. And that's why she washed your hair. That's why they washed your hair. They were willing to take that responsibility on for you for the rest of your life. And your ge'as are always supposed to be there for everything that you're going through in life. My ge'a was there to help me before I went to my in-laws for our wedding, and she combed my hair and my daughter's hair, and got us ready before we went. And then the other pictures are of my husband's ge'as, his aunts, his paternal aunts. And in Hopi, and the kinship system in Hopi can get very confusing. But for my husband, his ge'as are the ones that didn't want me to marry him. They're teasingly saying things about me, because I'm not good enough for their nephew, and they have famous for our mud fights, Hopi mud fights at weddings and stuff like that. So you can see a couple pictures here of his paternal aunts fighting for when I first took food, the engagement ceremony, and then some of his paternal aunts from his godfather's side and his father's side. They were there sitting with their sides, saying things about me, like that it took me too long, or my food wasn't good enough, or things like that. So they do it in a loving way, and it's a lot of fun. But your aunts are very important, and they'll always be there, no matter what. Even when you get married, you're still tied to your aunts, and like it says there, it's all the way through death. They play that role, and all the way to the end, till you're gone from this world. So you always call your ge'as ge'a. You try not to call them by their names, but I'm a ge'a. I take great pride in that, and it's always a good feeling when I get to spend time with my niece, and she's willing to share what's going on in her life. So it's just as important role as any other role in a Hopi girl's or man's life. And Hopi women as grandmothers, we call them so. Excuse me. our souls are the backbone, just as any other female mother, as a mother is in our lives. Our grandmas are there for us, and we look up to them. They become our matriarchs, and they still play those roles in everything that we do, from baby namings to weddings to corn grinding. They're there. They're there to support us through whatever we're going through. And I know that my soul was very proud of me. My souls were very proud of me. My maternal grandmother was not there. She's been gone for a long time, like I've said, and I'm fortunate enough to have my dad's mother there. She was there. She's 98 years old, and she was still able to make it to Second Mesa for my wedding. And she couldn't participate how she probably would have if she was a little younger. But as long as she was there, that made a big difference, because I think I'm her first grandchild to ever go through this, and she was proud of me, and she hugged me, and it's just a good feeling to have your grandparents there. My husband's maternal grandmother is gone as well. She's pictured here on the right, but she was able to go through things with her own grandchildren and do these things for them. And I was fortunate enough to have her in my life for the 20 years that she was there, and she was like a grandmother to me too, my soul. And she was a big loss to our family, but she taught all of us a lot, and my mother-in-law a lot, and you just don't forget those lessons you've learned from her. And then on the left side is my husband's paternal grandmother. She's as old as my paternal grandmother. She's 98 as well, I believe. And she's still going, and she still likes to tease me. So I know how much she loves me. So she's still there. She's there naming our daughter when she was born 8 years ago. And she's always been a part of our life, and will continue to be there. And we still depend on her to talk to her, and when she remembers things, and listening to her. And it's always enjoyable to sit there and talk with her when she's willing to. So our souls are very important. They still have all that knowledge that we would love to hear, and even just hearing about when they were young. It's a lot of fun, and to see how things have changed, how things have not changed, and how much hope they have for us, and their great grandchildren that are with us now. And it's a never-ending love you get from your souls. You always look forward to seeing your souls when you can. So it's I guess someday when I'm a soul, which won't be for another 20 years, hopefully, I'll be able to share that love with my grandkids someday. So I look forward to that, and living as long as my grandmothers are here, and hopefully they live live more years. So Hopi women, that concludes my presentation, our cultural treasure, and hopefully you learned a little bit. There's so much more to who we are and all the other things that apply to our lives, but it's hard to explain it if you're not born into Hopi, you don't live at Hopi, and you're not Hopi, because it's a lot of information and understanding kinship systems, clanship, and all this stuff. So, but I just wanted to leave with a picture here to show how much influence we have in the world. I mean, we have Princess Leia here that with our famous hair buns, but I'm pretty sure they did not grind corn and didn't earn it the way they're supposed to. So thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed that presentation. Again, sorry about my voice. We're good for questions now, I believe.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dee. What absolutely incredible. I have seen it before in person, and I always learn something new. So really, really appreciate you taking the time to educate us. Okay, lots of kinship questions coming up, not surprisingly, and lots of compliments that you can read in the chat. Okay, well, I'm just going to sort of start at the top. So one of our attendees asks if a mother is Hopi and the father is not, are the children considered Hopi? Is there a way to become Hopi other than birth, I guess?
No, not in Hopi eyes. If the father is Hopi, you're whatever your mother is. If your mother is white and your father is Hopi, you're considered white in Hopi eyes. Pahana. You always have to have it goes through the mother. For matrilineal, it goes through the mother. So whatever your mother is, that is what you are. And I know in a lot of other places, you know, it's not seen that way. If you live there and you grow up there, you're considered that. But in Hopi eyes, even though you grow up there learning the culture, you're still not Hopi. Your mother has to be Hopi.
So if the father is not Hopi, are you still considered Hopi?
Yeah, as long as the mother is.
Mother's Hopi.
Yeah, if the mother's Hopi and your father's Zuni, you're considered Hopi. Yeah.
Right. So one of our attendees asks if Hopi people believe that their ways of doing things, like the 20-day protocol with the new birth, has extended from prehistoric Puebloan ancestors.
I'm not sure. I can't answer that, but it's been practiced for as long as I know. And there's a whole process and I know it's been happening for a long time because there's certain things that a mother or a mother-in-law does for the new mother, where they know, how would you say, you know where to go for these things because they've been going there for generations and generations and generations, and it's built up to a bigger place. I guess it's hard to explain that part. Yeah.
Fantastic. Another lineage question: what happens if no daughters are born? Does the family line end?
Yeah, in a way. If for your nuclear family, but you always have clans, you know, extended family that from your clan members that will keep carrying on that clan, hopefully. But there are some clans that have gone extinct because of that. And there's no more females in that clan, and it's unfortunately it's happened and recently actually. So it does happen. Hopefully it doesn't. That's why it's good to have daughters.
Yes. It's always good to have daughters. Many reasons. So someone is wondering about the influence of sort of so-called modern aspects of society, cell phones, television, internet, social media. Has that negatively influenced Hopi traditions?
I want to say maybe like responsibility wise, because of that technology, you know, we're more prone to be sitting there on watching TV instead of going to the fields, or, you know, doing other things instead of going to the fields, or doing other, you know, just that kind of thing. But as far as traditions go, ceremonies go, I don't think it's changed it much. Things are still being practiced different times of year they're supposed to usually, and then practice the same way they've always been practiced. So you know, I in a way it has with the responsibilities and things like that, but as for tradition, I don't think it has.
It's wonderful. You
There's
showed so
no,
many
I would say there's no shortcuts for Hopi. You do it
Good.
the right way the first time.
You showed so many beautiful slides and pictures, and one of our audience was wondering if it was a photo of you and your mom at your wedding in slide 10.
Slide 10, let me go back. The one here, I don't, can you see my mouse? My
Yeah.
cursor? Okay, that's actually my mother and my grandmother.
Oh,
And
wow.
then this is my wedding that happened actually just last fall. I just got married in last fall and my mother is here. So she's got not as much black hair, but yeah, she was there with me. And then this is my godmother, and then this is my here.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. I'm not sure that that this is applicable in Hopi culture, but someone has asked, does the husband take the woman's last name?
Oh, no, they don't. You don't actually, it's kind of funny because I know that in our state actually recognizes traditional weddings. So you don't have to get married in Bahana way, in the white way, in order to claim that you were, I guess, what's it called, common law marriage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do that here, and you can if you want, but you don't have to.
Right.
But I did. I took my husband's last name.
Um, Someone is asking about language revitalization and our children today learning the Hopi language.
It's just as important. It is being, I know in my generation, well, I shouldn't say that because my husband is pretty fluent in Hopi, and I can understand, and I'm trying to talk more, but I'm not as fluent as my husband. But I can talk, but not as fluent as my husband. So from that, my generation on, I would say it was being lost, but it just depends on what village you're from. Because my husband's from Second Mesa, and they're more isolated than where I'm from. We're right at the boundary of Navajo, and so a lot where my husband is from, a lot of the younger people there, younger than me, I know, can talk Hopi, and I think it's because of the isolation. But where I'm from, I know a lot of peers in my village don't talk as much Hopi, but it's being revitalized. It's being taught in the schools and more encouraged at home. And for us in our own family, that's what we're doing. We try to talk to our kids in Hopi more. And I know our children did talk Hopi at first, but once they started going to school, they had to start talking English. So that's kind of where they lost it.
Fantastic. A great question. Someone noted that they loved, as I did, learning about Hopi women as seed keepers, and asks, what is the role of women in farming and gardening?
The men take care of the farming. They say, I guess in a way it's I'm just thinking of what we would teach at Crow Canyon too, because
Mhm.
the fields there, and it's good to have kids there and young kids, but usually they tell us that we can help, but then it's mainly a men's responsibility to take care of that, because those are what the men plant, how they take care of the fields is a reflection of how they raise their children. So
Mhm.
it's their job to plant that seed and then take care of it.
Excellent.
But we can go there to help, like hoe weeds and things like that. So.
Well, actually, and a follow-up question is, do you have special containers to store your seeds that are passed through the generations?
No, we just have pickle jars, chili jars, whatever we need. Something you can see through, that way you know what your inventory looks like.
Right. One of our listeners was wondering about societies and ceremonies. Are there some that are only for women?
Yes, there are. There's Lagun, there's Mamjao. I can't think of the others. We don't have it at my village. They have it at my husband's village. So there are a few, and there's a few societies where women are allowed, where the women do have to participate with the men, like snake dance and stuff like that. But it's only certain clans, certain women that are allowed to do that.
sort of maybe kind of a related question is, someone mentioned that you had mentioned going to the kiva as a young woman, and was wondering if women are allowed in kivas.
Yes, we're allowed to go into the kiva. But certain parts of the kiva are off limits to uninitiated children, uninitiated people, I should say.
Mhm.
There's some people that even if you're like an in-law and you might be an outsider, you're not initiated, you shouldn't be going to certain parts of the kiva. But I don't know, times have changed, and I think it's not really being looked at like that anymore. But yes, women are allowed to go down to the kiva for like night dances and things, or when their society is preparing.
I guess kind of on the flip side of boys and girls, one of our listeners asks, do the boys get trained to be Hopi too?
Yes, that's supposed to be the job of the father and the uncle. Learning all those other important things, their responsibilities and stuff. So you as a mother, you can teach your son only so much, then the rest it goes to your husband and the uncles, mainly the uncles. It's supposed to be the uncles, but like I said, it's kind of been lost. And I'm very fortunate to have a husband that's raised our son to know the things he needs to know. And they always tell us and hoping that we raise our sons to belong to somebody else someday. So that's kind of what you have to do, is teach them those values of becoming a husband and how to treat your in-laws and your responsibilities like that. So yeah.
Wonderful. Dee, thank you so much. I know your voice is going and we're a little bit over time. So thank you so much. I know we didn't get to everybody's questions, but some people are asking about readings and language and more information. Please do feel free to maybe email those to us at Crow Canyon. We can pass those along, or answer if we have some of those resources that we know about that we can pass on to listeners. So
Sure.
Dee, thank you. We miss you. Please come back, visit, hang out. You are always welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Asquili. Thank you for everybody who joined. And I believe I left my email with Taylor. So if there are questions that I didn't get to that you'd want to ask, you can always email me. I'm always willing to share any information. And
Wonderful.
come visit us at Hopi, or come eat, where our ceremonies are finally happening again. So it's good to be back in the swing of things, and we're very thankful. And remember that during our ceremonies, we don't just pray for ourselves, we pray for everybody around the world. So we're praying for everybody. So Asquili,
We
and
need
it
it.
was nice
Thank
to see you, Liz. We'll see you guys.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.